Next speaker is Patrick Miller from USA, United States, and he is a professor of mathematics at Harding Simmons University. The title. Before starting, I will notice that the one bell when the last 5 minutes and two bells when the 1 minute left. So please remind it. Yeah, Patrick. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Able
yes. Yeah. Patrick Miller. The title is IASC and International Astronomical Search. So please start.
All right. I want to share my my presentation. Are you able to see that?
Yes, okay.
I want to talk to you about the Center for Online Science and Mathematics Outreach. Got two things I want to talk about. If I have time, I certainly will talk about the first one, which is the International Astronomical Search Collaboration. And as Hitoshi said, I'm Dr. Patrick Miller from the Department of Mathematics at Harding-Simmons University in Abilene, Texas, and certainly delighted to have an opportunity to speak before the Global Hands-on Universe meeting this afternoon. First program I want to talk about is the International Astronomical Search Collaboration, what we call IASC. It was founded in October of 2006 at Harding-Simmons University in Texas. What it is, it's an online educational outreach program in astronomy. It's targeted to high schools and colleges, amateur astronomers, and other citizen science groups. Using images that are taken recently at a professional observatory, in this case, 2 professional observatories, the citizen scientists who are participating make original discoveries of asteroids. These discoveries are validated by IASC and then officially reported on behalf of the participants, the participating citizen scientists, to the Minor Planet Center at Harvard. We started this program in October of 2006 with 5 schools. They were based at that time in the United States. And since then, the program has grown to more than 3,000 groups, schools and groups per year that are located in 80 countries. During this time, the participating students and citizen scientists have discovered more than 1,500 main belt asteroids that have provisional designations by the Minor Planet Center. They've also discovered 2 Earth-threatening near-Earth objects, NEOs, more than 10 Jupiter Trojan asteroids. And since February of 2019, at the time that we started working with the NASA grant, with the Planetary Defense Coordination Office, students and citizen scientists have made more than 2,500 faint main belt asteroid discoveries. And these are asteroids that are not reported by any of the large NASA sky surveys. Also in this time, 62 main belt asteroids have been cataloged and numbered by the International Astronomical Union. And those asteroids that are numbered and cataloged can be named and are being named by their student and citizen scientist discoverers. Here's a breakdown of participation over the past decade or so. The first table there shows you, based upon the academic year 2015-16 all the way up to the current year, about ready to start here in Texas in 2020 to 2021, the number of groups, the number of participants and the number of countries that were involved in these searches for asteroids. In 2015-16, we had 300 groups with about 2,000 participants in 50 countries, and that's grown today to the current academic year to the 3,000 groups, 3,000 schools, citizen science groups, amateur astronomy clubs, reaching over 20,000 participants in 80 countries. And the bottom bar chart there, graph, shows you the breakdown by ethnicity. The program's quite simple, actually. It's very easy to participate in. Here's how it works. We have two main observatories. I'll talk more about those in a moment. One of them is at the University of Hawaii, using the 1.8 meter Pan-STARRS telescope in Haleakala. We receive images from that telescope. They come in a package of 4, taken over typically a 1-hour time period of the same area of the sky. And we process those images and distribute those out online through our website at Hardin-Simmons University. And the schools and citizen science groups then come in that day, download those images, their own sets of images, and use a program called Astrometrica to search for, discover, and measure these asteroids. If they make a discovery, then we have a second set of observatories around the world that will do a follow-up. The Minor Planet Center requires, when you make your initial discovery, within about 7 or 10 days for you to confirm it by making a second observation. And we do request, in many cases, these other observatories to do that for us. And so we repeat the process. We send the coordinates of the location of the asteroids to these other observatories. They make another round of observations. We process them through Astrometrica, and then we send the reports of both the original observations made by the students and citizen scientists, plus a second observation made by our support observatories. We send those to the Minor Planet Center at Harvard, announcing it as a new discovery. Here's, as I mentioned to you, one of the telescopes we use. This is the Pan-STARRS, or PS1 telescope, located in Haleakala. It's a 1.8 meter telescope. It has a twin telescope right next door, Pan-STARRS 2, the same size. And Pan-STARRS stands for the Panoramic Survey Telescope and Rapid Response System. And it's managed by the Institute for Astronomy located at the University of Hawaii. Now, it's not the world's largest telescope, of course, but it does have currently the world's largest digital scientific camera that produces enormous images. These images stretch across 3 degrees of sky, 6 times the size of the full moon, and each image contains 1.4 billion pixels. Astronomically speaking, they're enormous. During a 30-day campaign, we will retrieve 45 of these images from Pan-STARRS that are taken the night before or the nights before. And then IASC will partition those into 200 sub-images and distribute those out to about 300 or 400 citizen science groups. In fact, just from one of the larger images, these citizen scientists will discover as many as 150 main belt asteroids that are not reported by Pan-STARRS and nightly processing. Another telescope and observatory that we work with is a 1.5 meter telescope on Mount Lemmon as part of the Catalina Sky Survey. This telescope is managed by the Lunar and Planetary Laboratory at the University of Arizona as a part of the Catalina Sky Survey. And there you see photographs inside the observatory, the telescope itself, that 1.5 meter telescope. The images we get from the Catalina Sky Survey are a little bit smaller than what we get from Pan-STARRS. They're still pretty big from an astronomer's point of view. And we partition those into 4 subfields or sub-images, and then we distribute those out to the participating citizen science groups. Then they search through those images, and then they make discoveries of asteroids that are also missed occasionally by the Catalina automated pipeline. In July of 2018, IASC was awarded a grant with the NASA Planetary Defense Coordination Office out of Washington, D.C. That grant is a 3-year grant. It continues from July of 2018 until next summer, June 30, 2021. We've recently applied for a second grant that would start, if approved, would start July 1st, 2021 and continue for another 3 years. But that grant provides funding on an annual basis that has allowed IASC to move its operations to the cloud. We now take the images that are produced by the observatories and move them into a cloud-based pipeline. We have an automated retrieval of the Pan-STARRS images. Also, we're just now implementing an automated retrieval system for the Catalina images. So we now retrieve those images out of the data archives from these 2 observatories, process and distribute those out to the participating groups. And then the participating groups look through the images, they make their observations, they send those observations back to IASC, and then we will validate and report those to the Minor Planet Center on behalf of Pan-STARRS and Catalina. This grant and the development of this automated pipeline and processing system for citizen scientists is laying the foundation for IASC in the coming 3 years to grow from the 3,000 schools and citizen science groups that we have today to 5,000 groups per year. And we're also developing a general public access portal that will reach an additional 15,000 citizen scientists. So we anticipate by the time that we finish expanding the program that IASC will be reaching somewhere around 50,000 citizen scientists around the world. Here's the structure, the way it's organized. I'm the director, and the IASC office, which handles all the data processing, is located at Hardin-Simmons University, has two staff members, Cassidy Davis and Raul Valadez. And then reporting to them are teacher guides, a group of about 5, maybe we have a couple more on this list, of teachers who provide assistance to the citizen science groups who are searching for the asteroids. We have a number of computer consultants. They're developing the automated pipeline, the software to process the data, and to allow IASC to grow, allowing IASC to have grown to 3,000 schools this year and 5,000 in the coming couple of years. A number of education consultants, including Carl Pennypacker, who everyone has met and knows quite well because of his involvement in Global Hands-on Universe. And we have a team of professional measuring team that validate the student measurements and then report them officially on behalf of those students and citizen scientists to the Minor Planet Center. And working with us from the 2 sky surveys, Pan-STARRS, is Dr. Richard Wainscoat and Dr. Serge Chastel, and from the Catalina Sky Survey is Eric Christensen. I did forget to mention one thing about the IASC program. It's been free. It's free. We've never charged any money for students to participate. We deliver the images to them at no cost, and there's no cost to the participating citizen science groups or host organizations, because we have about 20 host organizations around the world that work with us. There's no cost of them to participate. When we first started, IASC, before we got the NASA funding, IASC was originally run by 20 volunteers from all around the world, most of whom I never did meet. They come from these countries. These are some of the countries where they originate from. some of the 80 countries that are involved in the program. Here are some of the students over the years who have made discoveries. I like to show these slides. This shows a young schoolgirl at the time, a high school student, in Massachusetts. She made a discovery of an asteroid. I remember the night that I've learned that she had made a discovery. I sent her an email late one evening, and she was still up working on her computer, and she got really excited. She started jumping up and down and dancing around the room, and her parents asked her, well, what was wrong? And she said, well, I discovered this asteroid. And in fact, her parents didn't believe her at the time, but in fact, she had discovered an asteroid, and later went to study astronomy and science and mathematics, other science and mathematics at the university. This is also, this is closer to me in Texas. These are community college students outside of Dallas, Texas, in Plano, Texas. They discovered 3 asteroids, and they went to a professional meeting of physicists and physics educators, and made presentations on their discoveries. This is in Brazil. You may recognize a much younger Gustav Rojas and his students, who participated for many, many years in Brazil. Each year in Brazil, we have around 600 or 700 schools that participate in that country. This is, I believe this is Bulgaria. Yes, it's Bulgaria. We have about 30 schools that participate each year from Bulgaria. This is with the National Observatory in Rojan, Bulgaria. The Sucker Radiva's group. This is the National Astronomical Observatory of China. That's Hongfeng Gao, and a group of students from Beijing High School who are looking at some images on Astrometrica. And I think we've got around 25 schools that participate in Beijing in the surrounding area. Portugal, we have somewhere between 60 and 70 groups that participate in Portugal and the former Portuguese colonies. This is Japan, Shizuoka University. Again, Shizuoka University participating. These are some high school students in the United States near Washington, D.C. and Virginia. Here's some other high school students in Virginia looking at Astrometrica, trying to search for and discover asteroids. These are 3 students in Mozambique. India, these are students in India. Each year in India, we have about 800 schools that participate. In fact, we have more schools that participate from the country of India than we do any other country in the world. Poland. This is an early photograph. Poland has been participating in the IASC program since we started in 2006, 2007. And this is an award ceremony where the student was receiving an award for a discoveries he made during a presentation at one of the schools in Poland, in Warsaw. These are students in Rio de Janeiro showing their certificates. This is Marcelo Souza's program near Rio, in which he works with about 100 schools in that part of the country each year. Sao Tome and Principe. These are students who are in a lab looking up at the IASC website, or the old version of the IASC website. We have a newer version, and they are getting ready to search for and make asteroid discoveries. These are students in Morocco, in a small rural location in Morocco. The professor there is Zaridi. I've met him several times on occasion. He's a very interesting individual. He and his son have a portable planetarium that they take all over Morocco to the rural areas to show the children and school children in that country the sky and basic astronomy. they're having a celebration after having participated in one of the IASC campaigns. We have another program. These are two students, 13, 14-year-old students in Brazil, who come from a somewhat impoverished to lower income areas of near Rio de Janeiro, or Campos. We reached out to these schools to find students in those schools who were not necessarily enthusiastic about science until they participated in the asteroid searches and made some discoveries or made some observations that were reported and became excited about science. And so we wanted to reach out and give them special recognition in the hopes that by doing that, we will encourage those students to one day pursue a career in science, mathematics, or engineering. The boy there on the upper left is Christian Martins, and the girl is Bruna Pontes. They were 13 at the time. This was a couple of years ago, and I interviewed them personally and selected them from a group at a meeting in near Rio, where we talked about IASC and had a chance to meet these students. What we've done as a part of that that award is we have proposed names to the International Astronomical Union of asteroids in honor of these students. Christian Martins, as that one has been accepted, he was named Asteroid 2007 KE7, is now officially Christian Martins, recognized by the AAU as an official name for that main belt asteroid. And we also propose, and we're waiting for confirmation on this, of 2013 EG44 after Bruna Pontes. Here are some more recent photographs of participants in the IASC program. In the upper left, I believe that is Panama. We've had groups from Panama participating in IASC for about 12 years. On the upper right is Romania. That's an amateur astronomy group in Romania that they're showing their certificates that we issue to the participants once they participate. The two girls on the bottom right are from Bangladesh. In fact, we just started with an organization in Bangladesh, an all Bangladesh asteroid search campaign, and we're hoping that we'll have 100 or 200 schools over time, or groups over time, participating in these searches. You may have heard about these two girls on the bottom right. This recently went viral on the world media. The claim was that the two girls discovered a Mars-crossing asteroid that was coming towards the Earth. In reference to Linda's talk about Comet Halley in 1910, and some of the mistaken comments made in the media about that comet. That's what happened to IASC. This news account was on Reuters. It was on CNN. It was on Fox News. It was in Forbes. It went USA Today. More recently, it's on space.com. Fortunately, by the time it got to space.com, I was able to talk to the reporters and correct some of the things that were wrong about the asteroid discovery they made. They did indeed make an observation, but it was a Mars-crossing asteroid. It's not one that's going to be impacting the Earth anytime soon. It's not even currently headed towards the Earth. Its orbit crosses the orbit of Mars, recently dislodged from the asteroid belt, astronomically speaking, and perhaps one day will evolve into more Earth-threatening type of asteroid. But we don't know that, if that in fact will happen. But we're very delighted about these two girls. These were, I think, are 13 or 14-year-old schoolgirls who made this observation and made this very important report to IASC. In the meanwhile, what happened was we reported their observation to the Minor Planet Center, And working with the Minor Planet Center, NASA, and the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and Pan-STARRS, the Minor Planet Center issued what's called an impact with the names of these girls included in that official astronomical document. So this is, we send out a holiday greeting card in ISAC once a year. This is the one we sent out a couple of years showing you the reach of ISAC around the world. Images coming to us from the far left from Hawaii. And there's, in the United States, there's Abilene, Texas. And we send those out all around the world using the internet in campaigns that now reach over 20,000 citizen scientists and students worldwide who are making these original astronomical observations, in many cases making original astronomical discoveries. Now, I did want to talk to you about something else that ISAC does. In fact, I think Carl already mentioned this earlier, and I know Bonnie Thurber will be giving a talk on this later in the conference. We have what we call the 100 for 100 Internet Telescope Project. This project originates through Global Hands-On Universe. In fact, that's where it started 2 or 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I guess. ISAC got involved with it in 2 years, in which we wanted to provide 100 hours of telescope time, internet accessible telescope time, to 100 schools located in 50 countries. And so working with Global Hands-On Universe and our solar siblings out of Australia and Las Cruces Observatory, LCO, and ISAC, that's what we're doing. We have 100 schools a year that participate, and they receive 1.5 hours of time on each of the each school receives that on on the LCO network of the 0.4 meter or 40 centimeter internet accessible telescopes. The photograph you see here is one of those telescopes. That's one of the 0.4 meter telescopes. That one I think is located on Haleakala. But there are 8 to 10 of these things all around the world, both in the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. And it's a queue-based system. You put in a request for an image. It could be a Messier object, NGC object, could even be a planet or a comet or an asteroid. And they queue it up and then prepare the image for you and send it to you through well, in a couple different ways. One way is we give it to them on a Google Drive through our solar siblings. We set this program up, designed it for teachers and students who are not familiar or have limited use of an internet accessible telescope in their classrooms. They don't know how to select the targets. They don't know how to set exposure times, determine what filters to use, how to handle fixed images, build a colorized images, and so on down that list. Some of them don't really know how to use images in student classroom activities. So ISAC set up a system for them to be able to do all that. Very simple for them to request, working with our solar siblings. Very simple for them to request their images, because all it requires is that they have a user ID and password and a project code and whatever it is that they want to take a look at. And then our solar siblings automatically handles the setting of the filters and exposure times. And of course, the queue-based system for LCO picks the telescope, the right telescope to use. Now, if teachers have more advanced skills, and some of them do know how to do this already, then they can go directly to the Las Cruces Observatory queue-based system itself and make their own request for images. So the idea is that we've built a system in which the teachers can go to a single site at ISAC, and that's where they request their images. Like I say, they only have to input just basic information. And then if they don't have the skills, then we automatically prepare their image request for them. And they can take, with the hour and a half worth of time, about 7 or 8 images of deep sky objects, say planets, asteroids, even comets, and make use of those in their classrooms. So here's the website at IASC for that, 100 hours for 100 schools. And then this is the where they go on that. This is further down on that same page, where they go and take a look at. They can take the images by going up there and click Take Images, or they can go to the LCO at the bottom one down there, and they can also take images from there, or they can retrieve their images from the LCO login, or the Google Drive. We make it as easy as possible, depending upon their skills. We're also helping them to advance those skills. We've developed a number of guides and activities, and this is an ongoing project where we're expanding these guides and expanding these activities for the teachers to be able to utilize the images effectively in their classrooms with their students. How to take the images using our solar siblings, how to retrieve images from the Google Drive, or how to retrieve images directly from the LCO. We also show them how to use Stellarium and how to use Stellarium to select their images. And then how to take images if they want to do it more using more advanced methods directly through the Los Cumbres Observatory and other utilities that we provide them activities. These are some of the guides, for example, that we've developed. Very short, simple guides, step by step, just a few pages long, 2 or 3 pages long, that allows them to quickly learn how to take these images and ultimately use them with their students. Also, we've obtained permission from the developers of Stellarium, Aladdin, and Salsa J to make available the executable codes from these 3 software packages. And those are also available on the website. They're further down on that page. They can just right-click, download it, and the software is ready immediately to be able to use on their laptops or desktops. Here are some images that have been taken by some of these students. I know that Carl showed you some of these earlier. This image that you see at the bottom of the page is the Crab Nebula, a colorized version and a black and white version, or grayscale version, taken by a teacher in Brazil, Tangara, Brazil. And here's some others. These were taken by some of my students in a program we had in a Boys and Girls Club in Abilene, Texas. These were 8- and 9-year-old students. The upper one there is, I think, is I forgot what it is. I know it's got the Pillars of Creation in it, but I forgot. I think it's the Eagle. I forgot. I think it's the Eagle. Then there's the Orion Nebula. Then on the bottom right, you see, well, it depends on how you look at it. If you look at it one way, it looks like a black eye. If you look at it the other way, it looks like an evil eye. So it's nicknamed the Evil Eye Galaxy or Black Eye Galaxy, depending upon which way you turn your image. And then the last image you see down there at the bottom right is a globular cluster. And these are some of the images that the 0.4 meter telescopes through Los Cumbres are capable of taking. Now, the last thing, well, I have one more thing I'd like to show you, Hitoshi. Let me check my time here. Just a couple of short videos. So I'm going to have to stop my share and then reshare it. So I forgot to click the. IASC is currently working with the federal government of Brazil and Brasilia, specifically with the Ministry of Science, Communications, and Technologies. Because the Science, Communication, Technology, and Innovations. They recently just changed their name. That program is led by Marcus Pontes, and what we're doing is we're developing a program that will reach out throughout the entire country of Brazil and make available these asteroid searches. We're now running a campaign or a series of campaigns that were set up by the federal government in Brazil, And when they ran their first promotional promotion on their webpage, they had almost 500 schools and citizen science groups asked to participate. And they're doing it all online during the time of COVID-19 as a part of IASC at Home. But I'd like to show you a couple of videos. These are in Portuguese. The first video was a promotional video inviting the schools to participate. And then the second video is a follow-up after we ran the first 20 schools, showing the results of their work. So if my sound works, I'll show you the first one. Very short cartoon.
Hoje nós vamos apresentar o projeto Caça-Asteroids. É um projeto muito legal, onde você pode nos ajudar a encontrar novos corpos celestes. E para isso, vamos dar um pulo lá no cinturão principal, pertinho de Marte.
Controle da missão para astronauta. Preparar para o lançamento. 3, 2, 1. Lançamento.
Sejam bem-vindos ao cinturão principal de asteroides. Estamos aqui entre Marte e Júpiter. O principal objetivo do nosso projeto é encontrar novos asteroides e objetos próximos à Terra. Para isso, em parceria com o IASC, usaremos o programa Astrometrica para buscar rastros de objetos em movimento em imagens iguais a essa. É um trabalho muito importante e pode ajudar, inclusive, a descobrir algum perigo para o nosso planeta. E aí, ficou curioso? Quer nos ajudar nessa missão? Quem sabe não fazemos uma nova descoberta astronômica? Pois acesse o endereço bit.ly/mctic-asteroids, leia o regulamento e faça sua inscrição. Lembre-se, a ciência está em tudo.
So, almost 500 schools throughout the country of Brazil responded to that promotion. At the conclusion of the campaign,
chegamos ao final da nossa caça aos asteroides. Estamos voltando para casa depois de uma divertida aventura no espaço. Essa primeira campanha foi um sucesso total. Já começou com um recorde de inscrições. Foram centenas de pessoas que quiseram participar. Mas como não cabiam todos na espaçonave, tivemos na nossa primeira viagem 16 grupos com um total de 53 participantes chegando ao final. Estiveram conosco nessa aventura pessoas de vários estados brasileiros e até uma equipe dos Estados Unidos. Ela começou com um treinamento muito proveitoso e uma grande reunião com todos os participantes bem atentos. Foram 10 dias de trabalho intenso e muita interação entre as equipes e nossos instrutores de plantão em vários encontros virtuais. A viagem foi divertida e a missão cumprida com sucesso. Nossa tripulação encontrou muitos asteroides e alguns deles são do tipo NEO, aqueles que estão mais próximos da Terra e que oferecem sérios riscos ao nosso planeta. O resultado desse trabalho foi inédito. Todas as equipes encontraram pelo menos um corpo celeste. Nossos caçadores de asteroides estão de parabéns. Cada um vai receber em sua casa o certificado emitido pelo IASC juntamente com a NASA e assinado pelo Ministro da Ciência, Tecnologia e Inovações do Brasil, astronauta Marcos Pontes. Mas nossa aventura não termina aqui. Fiquem atentos aos próximos projetos e lembrem-se, a ciência está em tudo.
So that is the IASC program and some of the activities that our collaboration is involved with. And I certainly appreciate this opportunity to have a chance to speak with you.
Okay, is it over?
Yes.
Thank you, Patrick. Now we have one question from Bonnie. She wants to hear, how often do you upgrade the software on your website?
How often do we have searches?
Upgrade. Software upgrade. I think there is no additional software than Astrometrica or the.
Well, we have a special version of Astrometrica that we use that put into a program where you can download it onto your desktop, installer. But it's a special version because because there's some issues about reading images from Pan-STARRS, and so our software is set up so that it handles those issues. So we encourage the people to use that particular version.
Oh yeah, and it is only Astrometrica, but it specialized for this project. Or
are we able to use other software? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Astrometrica is widely used for the astrometric measurements. I know, but
if you used another software, so long as you send us an MPC report, because Astrometrica produces an MPC report, and then we take those MPC reports and we process them. We look for things like false detections. We look for which includes moving along a great circle. We look for whether or not these are objects that are already been reported or currently appear in the Minor Planet Center database. We check those out, but they need to be sent to us in a format. As a matter of fact, they actually don't send us the reports. What they do is we have online, we have a portal in each of the team folders. All they do is they cut and paste their measurements into that folder, into that portal. And that's what goes to us, or just the measurements. So those measurements could come from any software.
You mean that only Astrometrica is used for the project, and not the specially programmed one is not used. Is it correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Bonnie's question is continued. Or other software, Stellarium or Salsai? What version of the Stellarium on your server?
Oh, what version of Stellarium?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's a couple of years old, so it's not the most recent. It's not the most recent version of it. You can use any version you want for Stellarium. We just make that particular one available. And the reason that we do it that way is because it doesn't require the teacher to go to the site, Stellarium site, and download it from there. They can just download it at one single place from IASC. And it's the executable code. It goes onto the laptop and it runs immediately.
I see. And there is other question. What age range do you suggest to apply for the 100 hours for 100 school project?
Oh, I see that comes from my friend Paulo. Paulo, how are you? The 100 for 100 project is designed for teachers, and so the teachers may teach any age, so long as they know how to use the images and take the images, then they can use that with any age they want. That's also true, by the way, of the asteroid searches. We have a lot of participants who are middle school age. That would be around the ages of 12 to 15 years. And so long as the teacher knows how to use Astrometrica and how to guide the students, then you can use these tools for any age group.
Thank you. There is no additional question yet, but from me, in Japan, the Japan Space Guard Center have some program, including junior high school students to asteroid search with their images. For that, they produced some special software for the asteroid checking because Astrometrica is rather hard to use for younger or junior high school or elementary school students. Do you try to make a special version of the software for the project?
Well, you're absolutely right. The big barrier to entry is Astrometrica. It's when we come up to a new group, we always recommend that they find somebody, could be a teacher or an enthusiastic student, to sit down and spend maybe an hour or two working with Astrometrica. If they have questions, we have a group of 7 teachers who will answer your questions. They'll either answer them by email or by video conference in some cases. But one of the things that we're looking at is exactly what you're suggesting. In this new grant proposal that we have written to NASA, we want to develop what we call a public access portal that does not require the use of Astrometrica.
Oh, yeah.
Or the use of FITS images. We would put them in a JPEG format or some format like that. And then they would have a blinker online where they would flag or mark the asteroid. And then we would come up with a way of determining the coordinates. That would allow us to expand IASC to our initial goal is 15,000 individual citizen scientists, but we're setting up a system that can handle as many as 100,000 through this automated pipeline that's being supported by our grant with NASA. So yes, you're absolutely right. That is one thing that has prevented us from growing even bigger is the Astrometrica.
Good plan. There is other questions. One is from Francis. What happened to the preliminary discoveries sent via email? Are the participants notified if they are verified again?
Well, the way that works, preliminary discoveries, they have to be observed a second time. They have to be confirmed. Most of them aren't, but probably about 10% of them do get confirmed. And it may be years before that confirmation takes place. But once a preliminary gets confirmed, then it becomes what's called a provisional. And it stays, it stays in the Minor Planet Center database for until enough observations are made to number it. And that process can take 6 or 10 years. Even though we have, over the years, we have I think around 1,700 provisionals, we still only have about 62 that have been numbered. That process is very, very slow, but we keep track of that. And as soon as we know when a preliminary is converted to a provisional, we notify the teacher, or we notify the contact who was we had for that particular team. And we keep track of that. We watch that on a regular basis. We used to have to depend upon the Minor Planet Center to send that information out, but they haven't done that recently. And so we've written the computer codes that goes into the Minor Planet Center and figures that out for the students. So we run that about every 30 to 90 days. We go out and check those preliminaries. It does take some time. That's the unfortunate part of the process. It's just part of the science. It can be from the time that you make your observation, it could be 10 years before it actually gets in the books and you can name it.
Is there any named asteroid for this program?
For Isaac?
Yes.
Well, we don't have any name for Isaac, but we do have 60 that have been named. For example, we had a group in Taiwan who discovered, these were high school students who discovered a TNO out past Pluto. And it's now numbered, and they had a national contest to name it. There are very special rules for naming TNOs that are different for naming asteroids, main belt asteroids. And so they had this national contest, and now that name was submitted to the IAU and officially approved. But we have about 60 that have been named by the students and participants. They name them after their cities. They name them after famous scientists. Sometimes they name them after their teachers or their schools.
Okay, good. And other question from Gayatri De Silva.
Toshi, I can speak. Patrick, yeah, just a quick question. Patrick, what day is your 2-hour workshop on Isaac?
I think it's on Tuesday, Carl.
Yeah, I couldn't find it easily. Maybe just so there'll be a good workshop in the coming week. We think on Tuesday on Isaac. So this is really an amazing opportunity to get good at it for all those who hadn't had a workshop.
Yeah, we've got Denise from who's been in Isaac for, I don't know, 20 or 15 years, I guess, who will be assisting with the training of on Astrometrica. And like I say, we do also have these assistants who are experts on Astrometrica who answer questions. And what we find is that during the first couple of weeks of a campaign, they last 30 days. During the first couple of weeks, we get lots and lots of questions, and they finally figure out how it works. And then they don't have a problem after that. They return campaign after campaign without any problems with Astrometrica. But that's the biggest barrier to entry, is training people to use that software. It's not hard, but it's got little details in it you have to know.
Okay, any other question?
All right, well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Patrick.